Of course, everyone on YouTube is super bullish on the new Coinbase stock IPO. Every video you watch is telling you to buy it. So in this video, I'm going to take the other side and talk about the bear case for Coinbase and why you maybe shouldn't buy it. So by the end of this video, you'll have a more balanced view on whether or not you should buy Coinbase for your own portfolio. Now, the reason we're doing this is because when it comes to investing, looking at both sides is very important. And again, hard to remember on YouTube where everyone is pumping every stock all the time. No one wants to look at the downside because honestly, it's not that fun. You guys comment on this channel all the time, oh, AK, you're so negative, yada, yada, yada. It's like, no, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm saying look at the downside of every investment because that's part of the investment process. That's what every good investor does. The best investors, as I always say, are actually risk managers. The only way you survive in this game year after year is by managing that risk. And that's what we help you do on this channel. It's a sad truth that stocks don't always go up. You gotta remember that. And even if you hate me for it, I'm here to remind you of it. Gotta take that medicine, sadly. But going back to Coinbase, you guys already know that it's the biggest crypto exchange in the US. So I don't really need to explain much about this business other than the fact that they've been crushing it, because obviously you know crypto has been going crazy. Look at Ethereum right here. Beautiful chart. Bitcoin, same thing, making new highs like almost every day it feels like. So that's an important thing to remember as we go through this video, that Coinbase is very closely tied to crypto. Now let's jump into the bear case. So reason number one why you might not want to be so bullish on Coinbase is because they won't be able to keep charging their high fees. See, Coinbase, how they make all their money is from transactions, right? People buying crypto on their exchange. And actually 95% of the company's revenue comes from that. That's what they're focused on. You know, it kind of makes sense. But how they make their money, obviously, is by charging a fee for people to bring their dollars and convert it into their crypto of choice. And those fees are actually pretty high. You can see right here for a retail person, it's almost 1.5%. And if you're an institution, it's lower at 0.05%. Now that's a percentage that they take from the whole lot that you're converting. So their fee is going to be bigger if you're trying to convert $10,000 versus just $1,000. And like I said, this fee is very high. And the reason they're able to do that is because this is a pretty brand new industry. And with other exchanges, there have been so many problems, you know, with people getting their crypto stolen. Coinbase still has a pretty good brand name. So given that and the fact that the whole industry is pretty new, they can charge what they want. And that's part of the reason why they made so much money. But the issue now is that competition is coming. Really, it's already here. You got fintech companies that are letting people trade crypto, like PayPal or Square. You got brokerages like Fidelity jumping into the game. You got other crypto exchanges like Binance. You have Robinhood in crypto. And here's the thing, these other competitors over time are going to be able to offer lower fees than Coinbase. And the reason why is because they could subsidize those lower fees with other parts of their business. So think about a PayPal or a Square. They have tons of different businesses within them, right? Like they're running transactions for merchants. They're helping do accounting for small businesses. Well, they have all these different sides, right? So what they can do is pad their books with those profits and then undercut Coinbase on the actual fees for people to convert into crypto. And that's a problem for Coinbase because Coinbase is one business. 95% of their revenue comes from these conversions. So if everyone else lowers their fees and Coinbase has to lower their fees too, you're going to see a huge hit to their bottom line. And it's not crazy to think this will happen because we've already seen it happen in the stock space with all these brokers. Robinhood came through and said no more fees for trading. And then every single brokerage had to follow suit. So why wouldn't the same thing happen in crypto? And what you get in a space where all the competitors are undercutting each other is something called a bloody red ocean. And it means basically what I just said, a particular industry becomes very competitive. And not in a good way that they're providing a better and better product. It's more that they're cutting prices lower and lower. So as an investor, you look at that and you kind of want to stay out because those companies are not going to be profitable. They're going to be losing money competing with each other, trying to grab all the market share. And then after a few years of that, it's winner take all. So whoever survives and undercuts the other guys so that they die out, he takes all the market share. But during that period, you don't necessarily want to be investing as an investor because they're not making money. So a question you got to ask yourself if you're a Coinbase bull is, how is Coinbase going to act with all this competition? What moat do they actually have? And a moat is what helps them keep their position against competitors that are entering the industry. We already talked about they do have solid brand value, but is that enough? Like, what truly makes them special? Why wouldn't I just go to PayPal or Square or just trade crypto off my Robinhood account? Now, reason number two you might not want to be so bullish on Coinbase is because they don't list many coins. So one of their competitors, Binance, they have 344 coins that you can trade. Coinbase only has 49. It's like the second lowest number of coins out of all the exchanges. Now, if they're trying to be the top exchange, should they have more coins? Probably. How are they going to expand? A problem is that the majority of their business is tied to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So to kind of spread out that risk a little bit, they do need more coins for people to trade. Now, reason number three to be bearish on Coinbase is the fact that they are too tied to crypto. So a lot of people are calling this IPO, direct listing, a watershed moment for crypto. They're saying it's the transformational point where crypto becomes truly mainstream. Kind of like when Netscape came out in '94. before. And Netscape was a browser that basically allowed your average person to surf the internet, and it changed everything. So people are saying this Coinbase IPO is the same thing, except for crypto. And you can see these cryptos are popping off because of it. Bitcoin here hit new highs. And by the way, I'm recording this even before Coinbase starts trading, but you can already see the excitement in these cryptos. Ethereum is the same thing. Look at it pop. And the biggest one out of all of them is Dogecoin. It really took off. A lot of it because of the excitement of this IPO. And by the way, I know it's a direct listing, which is different from an IPO, but I'm just calling it an IPO because that's the most common term. Now, like I said before, the two main cryptos that Coinbase is tied to are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And their revenue comes from those prices staying high. Because if the price for a single Bitcoin is high, then that helps them with larger transaction volumes, which also equates to higher fees because we went over their pricing schedule, right? So a big part of the reason why they've been doing so well is because, I mean, look at this Bitcoin trend. It's been insane. And they've been directly benefiting off of that. But being so tied to a volatile asset, you know, it's a double-edged sword because we know just as fast as crypto can go up, it could come down too. And then what happens to Coinbase revenues? And then how are investors going to revalue it? And that's the danger of being tied to such a volatile asset. The price itself of the Coinbase IPO can trade up and down like crazy because it is a very good proxy for investing in crypto. So for all the people who didn't want to invest directly in crypto, they could buy Coinbase, but they're going to buy and sell it based off what Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing. So it's almost like a derivative of crypto at this point, even though it's a stock. And the bears are even saying that this Coinbase IPO might be marking the top for the crypto space because we went over how these things have ran, right, over the last couple of years and how they're running into this direct listing. They're popping hard. But instead of this being the watershed moment, maybe this is the moment that the top is in and these cryptos all plunge from here. And there is some reasoning to that, which we'll talk about in a second. But before that, let's talk about reason number 4 you could be bearish on Coinbase because of regulation. And we've talked about this a lot on this channel about Ray Dalio and why he thinks cryptocurrencies might not do so well because governments don't want them to happen. Governments love to control the currency because it gives them a lot of power. They could print when they want, they could get rid of their debt, but as soon as you have something decentralized like crypto, then where's the government power? But like what Dalio says, the government can step in and ban that asset, saying, hey, no one can buy it. India and China are already thinking about it. US, they haven't gone that far yet, but you've seen people like Janet Yellen talk about the environmental impact of the blockchain and how bad it is for the environment. And I know that's a heavily debated topic, but the point is the government is going to use whatever excuse they can to shut down crypto if it takes away their power. And one easy target could be Coinbase, the exchanges, right? Because that is a company that the government could potentially control and just put a bunch of regulation on and make Coinbase's life miserable, which is of course going to affect its bottom line. So they could say, okay, blockchain is legal, crypto is legal, but these exchanges are illegal. Then what happens? Again, the government's main goal is always to keep itself in power. That's why they make all their decisions. So that's a serious risk, and it's a risk that Coinbase even lists in their prospectus. They know all these things are coming down the line. What they'll be able to do about it, we'll have to see, but it is definitely a risk to the stock price. Now, reason number 5 to be bearish on Coinbase is because it's already valued to perfection. So again, I'm recording this video before the thing actually goes live trading, but some super bullish analysts are predicting that this thing is going to be worth 100 billion first day. And like I said about every other YouTube video, everyone is so bullish on this thing. And the expectations are very high. Coinbase blew out the first quarter of the year, had amazing results. So now the bar has been raised. And what happens when the bar gets too high? Well, it becomes a lot easier to underperform than overperform, which ends up screwing high growth companies like Coinbase. And this is what we always talk about in this channel. It's not about valuations. It's not about hard numbers. It's all about investors' expectations and sentiment. That's what moves the stock market. So when it comes to high flying growth stocks, expectations drive everything. So you'll see analysts might predict 10 cents of earnings for a company, but if that company comes in at 12 cents, you'll see its stock price shoot up high. If it comes in at exactly 10 cents, what was predicted, you might see the price plummet, and you might be thinking, hey, why are they falling when they met estimates? Well, they might have met the estimates, but they didn't meet the market's expectations. So stocks have to constantly exceed expectations for you to see the stock price rise. So a good example of this is like Tesla. Elon is very good at making announcements at the right time to get people hyped, and that's why you see a stock price like this. So he's good at playing that expectations games and staying one step ahead of it. So people think, oh, but what if they could do this? And then they revalue the stock price even higher. But again, if we have super bullish people predicting Coinbase at 100 billion already, where do you go from there? They had the huge blowout quarter already. Maybe, hopefully, crypto keeps going higher, but if it turns around, or if it even goes sideways, and these expectations aren't met, well, down goes the stock price. It's a tough game for high-flying growth stocks. And if we just look at sentiment in general, what do we know? Everyone's super bullish on crypto and Coinbase. And what do we know about markets? When everyone's super bullish, it's usually a bad sign. Market loves to do the opposite of what everyone wants, and that might happen here, which again goes back to the theory that this could be a top. So you might be wondering, am I myself buying the IPO? And no, I'm not. But it's not because I'm actually bearish on the company or something. It's more that this IPO direct listing play doesn't fit into my strategy. Down the line, it may actually end up in my portfolio if the stock is performing well, but my strategy doesn't go after IPOs. And you guys know my strategy. It's a momentum strategy, but for my system to actually measure momentum of a stock, it needs some historical data. So it needs the stock price to trade for a while, which is why I'm saying Coinbase could very well end up in my portfolio down the line, but not right now. And really, we went over the bear case here, right? But there is a very strong bull case too. But like I said in the beginning, it's important to look at both sides so you could get a full picture. You got to really understand what you're investing in. You can't just look at one bull side and close your eyes and dive in. You want to look at the risk, because risk is so important in the stock market, protecting your money. If you focus on that, you're going to do great over the long term in the market. And I know a lot of people might be hesitant buying Coinbase right now because a lot of us have taken some big losses in the market recently. Well, to help us deal with all those losses and get over them, I made this video right here. Definitely watch it if you want to be prepared for how these markets are going to act going forward. So click this link right here and I will see you in that video.